32-year-old Ashley Jones had blood on her hands, but this time it was to save lives. The young nurse Ashley Jones, walking rapidly through the hospital corridors, had a different kind of determination in her steps. Unlike other nurses, her walk carried military discipline, and her eyes sparkled with the composure of someone who had seen war. She was 32 years old, and her experiences had made her a mature, strong woman. But you didn't know her real story yet. Ashley's past was filled with experiences most people couldn't even imagine. At 18, she had enlisted in the army to escape family problems. During her 6 years of service in Afghanistan, she had served not only as a soldier, but also as a field medic. Treating wounded comrades in environments where bombs exploded and bullets whistled had become routine for her. At 24, she had been promoted to sergeant rank and was managing her own medical team. But the cost of war had been heavy. During her third deployment, she had lost her closest friend Marcus in an IED explosion. That day, Ashley's world had collapsed. Despite her medical knowledge, she couldn't save Marcus. This event had been the turning point in her military career. She began struggling with PTSD and couldn't sleep at night. When she was discharged from the Army at 28, she didn't know what to do with her life. For 2 years, she underwent therapy and fought to pull herself together. When she started nursing school at 30, her purpose was clear: to use what she learned in war and civilian life to continue saving lives. The most important thing I learned there, Ashley thought, was never to give up, no matter how hopeless it seemed. This is exactly where everything changed. On that cold December morning, Ashley thought she was coming to the hospital for a normal shift. She wore a pink-patterned nurse scrub, white sneakers instead of military boots. But the warrior spirit she carried inside had never changed. In the past 2 years working at this hospital, her colleagues had always known her as calm and professional. No one knew the details of her real past, and now that past was about to return unexpectedly. When she entered the emergency room, there was unusual activity. Ambulance sirens were constantly wailing. Doctors were running around. "Ashley, get over here immediately!" shouted head nurse Margaret. "There's been a major traffic accident. A school bus overturned with 25 children inside." Ashley's heart stopped for a moment. Children. They were the most difficult patients, not just medically, but emotionally too. Wait a minute, don't miss this detail. When the first injured child was brought in, Ashley's military training kicked in. An 8-year-old girl was unconscious and bleeding from her head. Under normal circumstances, this would have been panic-inducing, but Ashley remembered that day in Afghanistan. The day she saved young soldier Mike during the attack on the base camp. Same age, same blood loss, same critical condition. She had saved Mike that day, and now she would save this little girl. "Get me an IV set now," Ashley commanded. Her voice was calm but determined. The other nurses were surprised by her composure. "What you're seeing now is nothing." The second casualty was more severe. A 10-year-old boy had chest-crushing injuries. He was having trouble breathing. Dr. Wilson looked panicked. "Pulse oxygen level is dropping. We need intubation immediately." Ashley approached the child and checked his vital signs. Pulse was weak, breathing was shallow. She had seen this condition before. Soldiers who had chest trauma after explosions in the battlefield had the same symptoms. At this point, something clicked in Ashley's mind. "Doctor, this isn't just an intubation problem. The child has pneumothorax, air accumulation in the chest cavity. We need to do decompression immediately." Dr. Wilson looked puzzled. "Nurse Jones, how did you make this diagnosis?" "I can do it," Ashley said calmly. "In Afghanistan, I performed over 30 field intubations and more than 15 emergency chest decompressions, sir. Please trust me." Dr. Wilson's voice carried the authority that convinced the doctor. Ashley moved to the child's head. Her hands weren't shaking. Her heart was beating normally. It was as if she wasn't in that chaotic hospital room, but in a calm operating theater. This was a technique she had learned in war, calming her mind, rising above the surrounding chaos. "You won't believe this, but the intubation and decompression were successful. The child's breathing returned to normal, his pulse strengthened, his color returned. Dr. Wilson looked at Ashley with amazement. How is this possible? You're not just a nurse, are you? This level of medical intervention. Shadows of the past appeared in Ashley's eyes for a moment. On the battlefield, rank doesn't matter, doctor. Only saving lives matters. I served as a field medic for 6 years. I worked with commando units. Because I've seen worse, doctor. Much worse. At this time, other nurses had also gathered around Ashley, watching her extraordinary performance. No one knew that this calm, modest Ashley had such abilities. That's when everyone got confused. Then, the third ambulance arrived. This time, the situation was much more critical. The bus driver was seriously injured and in shock from blood loss. At the same time, he was conscious and constantly asking about the children. The children. How are the children? Was it my fault? That truck came out suddenly? Please tell me the children's condition. Ashley leaned over the injured driver. She recognized the guilt in his eyes. This was the same expression she had seen in soldiers' eyes when there were civilian casualties in war. Survivors' guilt. She had experienced this situation herself before. I'm Sergeant Ashley Jones, she said, holding the driver's hand. This was the first time she was using her rank in civilian life. I served in Afghanistan for 6 years. I'm telling you, this is not your fault. You prevented a much bigger disaster. A momentary relief appeared in the driver's eyes. The military jargon and authoritative tone had calmed him down. Listen to me, she continued, holding the driver's hand. Right now, we've saved 8 children. All are in stable condition. You're a hero, sir. If you hadn't pulled the bus to the right before hitting the pole, it could have been much worse. These words came from Ashley's own experiences. In Afghanistan, after a bombing where there were civilian casualties, these were the same words she had said to her commander, who blamed himself. The driver seemed somewhat relieved, but his condition was still critical. He needed surgery urgently. Ashley, said Dr. Wilson, prepare for the operating room. We can't afford to lose this patient. But the really shocking thing was, during surgery preparation, Ashley received a message on her phone from her former commander from Afghanistan, Captain Roberts. Ashley, I saw you on the news today. Saving those children in the accident. I'm proud of you, soldier. You're a real hero. Ashley's eyes filled with tears. When she left Afghanistan 2 years ago, she had felt useless. She had struggled with PTSD, couldn't sleep at night. But now she understood. What she learned in war hadn't been in vain. What she experienced there had made her stronger today. The surgery lasted 4 hours. Ashley didn't look tired at all. She seemed to have endless energy. Throughout the surgery, she helped Dr. Wilson, monitored vital signs, and most importantly, kept the morale of other team members high. During surgery, Ashley had told Dr. Wilson about her medical experiences in war. According to her, the most important thing she learned on the battlefield was leadership and teamwork rather than medical knowledge. Doctor, the most valuable thing I learned in Afghanistan was how to calm a panicked team. Medical procedures are important, but team morale is much more critical. If the team collapses, the patient goes too. These words had greatly impressed Dr. Wilson. He had been working in the medical field for years, but had never thought of Ashley's perspective, and that's when Dr. Wilson made a decision. The surgery was successful, but the driver was taken to intensive care. Although Ashley's shift was over, she decided to stay in intensive care. This was a habit she had acquired in Afghanistan. She would never leave a wounded comrade alone. She kept vigil by the driver's bedside all night. When the driver opened his eyes at 6 a.m., the first thing he saw was Ashley's smile. The children, the driver whispered. They're all fine, don't worry. 23 were discharged, 2 are under observation, but their conditions are stable. The driver looked at Ashley with tearful eyes. Thank you. You're like an angel. Ashley smiled. No, I'm just doing my job. The voice on the phone was familiar, but that afternoon, while Ashley was resting, her phone rang. The caller was Susan Miller, the mother of one of the children she had saved. Nurse Ashley? I'm Sarah's mother. Are you the one who saved my daughter? Yes, how is Sarah? Is she well? She's fine, very fine. But I want to tell you something. Sarah keeps talking about you, she says. The soldier nurse came and saved me. We want to meet you. Ashley was surprised. Soldier nurse? I don't remember telling her anything like that. No, but children are very sensitive. Sarah felt that you were different. According to her, she wasn't like other nurses. She seemed stronger. Ashley's heart warmed. How sharp children's intuition is, she thought. Of course, certainly. I can come visit Sarah. This conversation had triggered something in Ashley. Everyone had learned the truth, but the real shock. The next day when Ashley went to visit Sarah, a surprise was waiting for her in the little girl's room. Not only Sarah and her family were there, but also the other children she had saved and their families. They all greeted Ashley with applause. "This is our hero," shouted Sarah's father, "the soldier nurse who saved our daughter and other children." Ashley was surprised. How did you learn that I was a soldier?" "The hospital director told us," said another mother, "that you're an Afghanistan veteran, how effective your war experience was in saving our children that day." At that moment, Ashley realized that she didn't need to be ashamed of her past. What she experienced in war was now giving her strength to save other people's lives. This was the last chance. While talking with the children, Ashley wanted to tell them something about courage. "You know," she said to them, "courage is not about not being afraid. Courage is doing what's right even when you're scared. That day I was scared too, but your recovery was more important than my fear." Little Sarah raised her hand. "Ashley, sister, were you really in war?" "Yes, I served in Afghanistan for 6 years." "Did you save people there too?" Ashley hesitated for a moment, then she decided to be honest. "Yes, there I tried to save my comrades too. But sometimes I couldn't save them either. That's why working here, with you, is very special for me." Another 10-year-old child asked, "Was war terrible, Ashley's sister?" "Yes, it was very terrible. But you know what? The most terrible moments were when my friends needed help, because the fear of not being able to protect them was greater than the fear of getting hurt myself." These words had deeply affected the adults in the room as well. Ashley's warrior spirit had now transformed into a mission to protect children. These moments were like a therapy session for Ashley. It's too late now, but on her way home that evening, Ashley looked at herself in the mirror. For the first time in a long time, she was satisfied with her reflection. The traumas caused by war were still there. Sometimes at night she still heard Marcus's voice, but now she could use them for a purpose. The techniques she learned in therapy sessions were working. As Dr. Richardson said, it was possible for trauma to transform into healing power. What you've experienced is not there to weaken you, but to give strength to others, the doctor had said. Now she could fully understand the meaning of these words. Another message had come to her phone, this time from her former teammate Jake. "Hey Ash, we saw you on the news. The old team is proud of you. You were always the best anyway. Marcus would be proud of you too. Now we understand that war didn't break you, it made you stronger." This message had greatly affected Ashley. Jake's mention of Marcus no longer saddened her. On the contrary, it gave her strength. And at that moment, Ashley had finally found peace. Ashley smiled and replied to the message. "Thank you, Jake. I finally know where I belong. The war is over, but the mission continues. Only 10 minutes left." The next morning when she went to the hospital, another surprise was waiting for her at the door. Hospital director Dr. Thompson, local journalists, and the mayor were there. "Ashley Jones," said the mayor, "we declare you a city hero for both your service in war and your extraordinary performance on that critical day." Ashley nodded. "Thank you, but I just did my job. The real heroes are all the healthcare personnel working here every day." She ran, she fell, she got up, she continued. While working that day, a young nursing student approached Ashley. "Ashley, sister, I want to be like you too. I haven't experienced war, but how do you manage to be so strong?" Ashley stopped and looked at the young girl. She felt like she was seeing herself at that age. "Listen to me," she told her. You don't need to go to war to be strong. To be strong, you just need to believe in what's right and never give up. The care you show for each patient here every day is no different from the courage I showed in war." When she read that letter, tears streamed from her eyes. On her way home in the evening, she found a letter in her mailbox. There was no sender address, but these lines were written inside. "Dear Ashley, I'm Susan, Sarah's mother. I'm writing this letter in memory of the day my daughter was given life. You didn't just save her life, you gave us hope. You served for our country in war, now you serve for us here. This is what a real hero is. Thank you." Ashley's eyes filled as she read the letter. For the first time in a long time, she was at peace with her past. When she went to the hospital in the morning, she looked in the mirror in the locker room. She was no longer just a former soldier. She wasn't just a nurse either. She was someone who saved lives, someone who gave hope, someone who used the pain of her past for the good of others. Dr. Wilson approached her in the corridor. "Ashley, I want to talk about your performance yesterday. The hospital management wants to meet you. A new position is opening in the emergency room, trauma coordinator. They're looking for someone with advanced medical training and leadership experience." Ashley was surprised. "But I'm just a nurse." "No, Ashley, you're much more than that. What I saw yesterday were things that even doctors who have been working here for years couldn't do. Your military medical experience and leadership ability are perfect for this position." This offer meant opening a new page for Ashley. She would now work not just as a nurse, but as a trauma specialist. This was the real transformation. "My name is Ashley Jones," she murmured to herself. "I'm 32 years old. I'm an Afghanistan veteran, retired from sergeant rank, and now I'm a trauma coordinator. And every day, I'm here to save lives." She opened the door and walked into the corridor, where a new day, new patients, new hopes were waiting for her. The war had ended, but the real mission was just beginning.